Orofo we breaking news case here na bebe to dwa every Ghanatube am so begin nyina orofo suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo to say ya pardon no ana to see ya reinstating no ana orofo just say breaking news bebe to dwa na no ohye yes enimenim ya John Dramani Mahama nyina aban no omu reinstating no just say yes as quickly as possible. John Dramani Mahama and na aban NDC aban no president John Dramani Mahama and vice president Muamu nim so no moti akonja so dofo yesi enimenim ya suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo nsem na ai deja na nde ye fa say no che de na masi ni abre na chese odi nsem ne kokọ various courts no adofo ejebo eja enya aba be disi ano yesi yensan so fa ne ntina akonja so yensan so fa ne position emma no as the sitting Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. Therefore, when you breaking news, I will be told you ya pardon and as you reinstate. Therefore, my uncle, the uncle just answer when you Ghanatube.
Just before we came on the air, because we know that the Bar Council of England and Wales and the Commonwealth Lawyers Association have demanded an immediate reinstatement of suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo to office. In a joint statement on Thursday, August 14, 2025, they said the reinstatement should be done without delay. Now, I want to show you highlights from that statement real quick. Now, there it is. That statement's coming from the Bar Council of England and Wales and then the Commonwealth Lawyers Association. It says suspension of Chief Justice is in clear breach of Ghana's constitution. Judges under Ghana's laws should only be subject to suspension or removal only for reasons of incapacity or stated misbehavior. And then decision of investigative committee, to permit petitioners to use witnesses instead of attending themselves to answer questions. That's not follow due process. And then the disciplinary proceedings should have been resolved in a timely manner. I know some of these things are very familiar for you, and if they are not, they very much resonate with what we've heard from the Chief Justice over time, how her family is not allowed in the hearing area, how she feels intimidated over and over again. She's taken a number of cases to court as a result of what she thinks is not a fair process for her removal. Now, and the demands from the UK Council or Bar Council is that the Chief Justice is reinstated immediately, afford her due and fair process in the investigation and determination of the disciplinary matters brought against her, provide clear and transparent rules of procedure to guide the disciplinary process, which must include the time frame within which the investigating committee must conclude the disciplinary process against the Chief Justice. So that's a summary of what we're hearing from the Bar Council of England and Wales and the Commonwealth Lawyers Association. Yeah, but I'll bring you some reactions from social media. I do want us to look at what the Attorney General is saying in response to this demand or these demands from the Bar Association or the Bar Council of England and Wales, and that statement came in the last few minutes just before we came on the air, right? And it goes straight to the point. So I'm going to read just a few for you. The government of Ghana acknowledges the joint statements, expressed concern for judicial independence and commitment to constitutional governance within the Commonwealth. It is, however, a matter of serious concern that the BCEW, which is the Bar Council of England and Wales and the Commonwealth Law Association, issues the joint statement without first acquainting themselves, even in very basic ways, with the relevant constitutional provisions and the material facts of the matter. And on that note, they outline the material facts of the matter up until May 15, 2025. So I'll move on to point 6 on this, because that's where a response to the BCEW and the CLA come. It says it must therefore be emphasized that there has been no constitutional breach or executive overreach in the consideration of the 3 petitions, and these petitions are those for the removal of the Chief Justice. Applications for interlocutory injunctions and judicial review brought before both the Supreme Court and the High Court by the suspended Chief Justice and her associates, in an effort to restrain or halt the inquiry committee proceedings, have been duly considered and dismissed by the courts as lacking in merit. We feel considerably reluctant to mention that the sound, including the very words of the BCEW and the CELA joint statement, vividly clones the dismissed grounds with which Her Ladyship Justice Torkornoo, and I mentioned this already, that some of the concerns raised by these 2 associations of the UK are very consistent with what the Chief Justice has been saying over time, very consistent with the Ghana Bar Association U-turn on this matter. And the Attorney General makes the same conclusions, right? Because he goes on to say that Justice Torkornoo, the CJ, and her associates canvassed before the Supreme Court and the High Court. It is also important to mention that Justice Torkornoo has presented similar arguments in her case before the ECOWAS court, which the government of Ghana is defending on behalf of its citizens. That the government of Ghana remains strongly committed to maintaining the independence of the judiciary, separation of powers, and the rule of law. I would end there because that is the crux of the matter. As the Attorney General fends off any suggestions otherwise to maintaining a transparent process being unfounded and risk distorting a constitutional process that is being conducted fairly, transparently, and in accordance with the law. So essentially that's what the Attorney General has said in the last hour of the night. The concerns and demands by the BCEW and the CLA of the United Kingdom absolutely have no basis in the process against the Chief Justice at this time. I wanted to show you some of the reactions from social media. But what we are learning is that some of you are not happy because you see this as an interference, and I only have one question. Why? You think about that, or maybe the BCEW should think about that. We'll meet here same time Friday night for another edition of
Other 4 way and sema just say apeto dwa den a just say obi aka ho asema me so begini nyina brew e wo Ghanatube so you say enimeni ya no Attorney General any Ghana for President of the Republic of Ghana any na aban enimeni ya no omfa Chief Justice, suspended Chief Justice, Gertrude Torkornoo on some funny position and some fun money beautiful when they breaking news about to where England may more you say common word for no modium huabu mamu common word for no modium huabu no say no senia omode Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo suspended one and nam so no de and same fatakra enimeni ya no omo san so funny position and some fun be more for when they breaking news about to do am so me na bro I will Ghanatube for my review say mobile like no subscribe no share no hit the notification bell so my send a bear bring a BBA drop content say wo when an temper no watch me to for aha and I'm saying in ABC I will Ghanatube so makra mu nyina beda mu nyina se